Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here. I'm Christy Kotek. I support our Alumni Relations Office in addition to our Career Services team. We were very excited to bring the salary negotiation workshop to our community today. We feel like this is such an important topic, and sometimes it's a difficult topic to advocate for yourself and discuss salary, but it's also a part of the process, an important part of the process. So we're very excited for you to be here today. And before we dive in, just a kind reminder to please keep your mic muted throughout the hour, just so we can have clear, great sound quality for everyone who has joined us. There might be opportunities at the end to unmute if you do have questions. So to formally get us started, I want to introduce our speaker, our very special guest, who we're so glad that she has taken time to be here with us today. Michelle Mimi Matthews is the founder and restorative career strategist of Boss Up and Hustle Consulting. Michelle is also a graduate of Roosevelt. She completed her Master's of Business Administration with us. So we're very excited. We have an alumni expert here to talk on this topic. Michelle's consulting firm assists individuals and organizations drive results by resolving energy deficiencies that contribute to low employee retention, burnout, and decreased productivity. Michelle began her career in the career advancement industry as a resume writer. She then joined the Professional Association of Resume Writers and Career Coaches, and then received her certification as a professional career coach. At Boss Up and Hustle Consulting, she has had the pleasure of delivering keynotes and trainings with a variety of nonprofits and higher education organizations. So this format, being here today with Roosevelt, is something she has done quite often. And she has also been published by Indeed.com and featured in a variety of publications. And coming soon, which I'm very excited about, will be her first book, Powerless to Powerful, Bossing Up and Hustling Minus the Grind. So we'll keep an eye out for that, and we'll stay tuned for more information. But Michelle, thank you so much for being here with us today to talk about this topic. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you to get started.
Thank you for having me, Christy. Thank you so much. So I'm going to go ahead and get my screen started. We're here today, like Christy said, to talk about salary negotiations. It's one of those taboo topics that seems to make people a little nerve-wracked, So we want to talk about how to get rid of some of the anxiety and everything that comes with negotiating your salary. So first thing first, like Christy said, I started out as a resume writer and pivoted into career coaching. And one of the things that led me into career coaching was because my resume recipients, they were getting these brand new resumes and they were not using them, or they were getting the resumes and settling for positions that did not align with the talent they had to offer. So of course, as a resume writer, to be within the scope of the project, there was only so much that I could do to assist them in that. So I'm like, oh, what can I do? Of course, there's this other outlet where I could coach, and I never thought that coaching would be in my future, but it has been the most rewarding experience ever, helping employees get to just get what they want out of the job market and do different things for themselves that they were not able to do before. So without much ado, we're going to talk about a couple of things here that's going to help you, like I said, just not feel as anxious when it comes to negotiating your salary, because I'm going to drop a few statistics in a minute that's going to support why this conversation is so important. So the first thing is I want to make sure that we're outlining a repeatable process to approach the salary negotiation. And then, of course, like I've been saying, we want to reduce the anxiety, because one of the things that you have to do is be confident in these conversations. And then, of course, I'm here to empower you with the keys to honor yourself. As a restorative career strategist, it's a fancy term that we came up with to really kind of identify what it is that I do. Professionals come to me to help to raise their spirit, raise their confidence, get them together so that they could go back out there in a full body of armor. If you kind of visual like I am, a full body of armor, so that they could take on the job search and be confident within. There's rejections and all types of things that come with this game. So it's like you have to make sure that you're in the right mindset and that you're ready and willing to go where you need to go so that you can get what it is you need from out of your search. So the first thing here, I wanted to have this quote and let you guys see it and really feel it, because it's something that you have to carry with you all the time when you, again, conduct these types of conversations. So your value doesn't decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. When I saw this, it was in context of a relationship. However, when you consider the job search process and how things work with that, relationships and job searching is almost one and the same. So it's kind of like it goes right hand in hand with what we're talking about. We're going to talk about how, you don't have to be afraid of these conversations. You don't have to be afraid to walk away from these types of conversations as well. Like, you have to always remember that you are valuable and that the right company will see that you are in fact valuable. So to start things off, I wanted to talk about these people. And if you're not familiar with who they are, these are millionaires, billionaires from the hit show Shark Tank. And Shark Tank is where these people are able to invest in startup businesses or businesses that's looking to get investment to become more sustainable, to grow, all of that stuff. So they actually bet against each other in the instance that the business is something that, they deem to be profitable. They bet against each other to try to get shares within a company, right? And I want you to consider yourself as the person who's coming to get them to invest inside of their company. For a second, just imagine what these people have to do to prepare for such a feat, right? So first thing first, as I've said before, you have to be very, very confident to, talk to people of this nature. I remember when I first started out looking for a job right after I graduated out of undergrad, I used to Google people and try to find their salaries online, just because it made me more comfortable to know what level of, and I know it's crazy, but I used to deem this process, how I would deem this process a success is if I could locate their salary. So I wanted to know what level professional am I going to be having this conversation with, just because it made me feel like I was prepping myself the way that I should be, right? You don't want to show up in a room with top level executives and not being able to represent yourself properly. So that's kind of like these people, when they go on this show, they're pitching themselves with everything that I got, with everything that they have. So they're, outlining their processes, they're outlining their sales, they already have in mind what they need from them. Everything is in order, and you get to see these people go back and forth about negotiating the stakes in these companies if this company is deemed profitable again. So if you consider yourself to be one of the people who goes on that show and pitch yourself, you have to be ready with all of your stuff, like I said, armed in all of your armor, ready to defend what it is that you need, and to actually be able to display why they need you. So hopefully that breaks the ice. I'm hoping that everyone has an idea about that show, given my little synopsis. And before we talk about this, I just want to say one of the things that I got from that show one time I was watching it is that a lot of people go on there and they're like, really, they see the world for themselves. Everything, all of this stuff that they're throwing out to them seems like an amazing offer. But there are some people that go on there and they will let them know up front, like, I'm not willing to do this. I'm not willing to give you that much of my company. And what I got out of that is basically, sometimes you have to walk away. You have to be willing to walk away. And you also have to be willing to listen to everything that's out there before accepting an offer, right? Because some of these sharks, those people that we just saw, they compete with each other to look more appealing to the person. So you never want to go to the table thinking that this is it. You know, you want to make sure that you are listening and that you are aware of your position in this conversation. So that leads right into where we are now with the traditional job search process. Traditionally, we have the application process. If you're successful in that, you get invited to an interview. If you're successful in that, you get an offer, and then you have your acceptance or your decline of the offer. Now, the reason why we're having this conversation is because according to Glassdoor in 2020, only 1 in 10 people actually negotiated their salary, which makes sense when most people think this is how the process goes, right? And then of that, 60%, according to CNBC, women don't negotiate. And we know there's a pay gap between women and men in the workplace of according to, you know, the statistics right now, it's about 93 cents for every dollar that a man makes, a woman makes. So it's kind of one of those things where you just don't want to leave things on the table. So this is the traditional job search process. This is why no one is negotiating their salary, because they really have set in their mind that this is the way it goes, right? But we know now that there is a different, it's a brave new day. Like we are in a new world pretty much. So you never want to leave the opportunity to negotiate on the table. So instead, you're doing this application process, you're meeting in the interview, you're getting the offer. And now, instead of immediately making a decision, I'm here to tell you that you are going to evaluate the offer and negotiate. It doesn't matter what this offer looks like, you're always going to negotiate. I have never entered a position without negotiating my salary. That's my personal truth. And I tell people all the time that it is one of the best things you can do for yourself as a professional. We're not that much different from a business owner. We have needs and things that we need to take care of in order to sustain our lifestyles. So when you consider that, you know that this is an opportunity for you to really make or break your lifestyle and your living situation, your progression in your career. All of these different things go into this pool of things that you have to consider when you decide not to negotiate, right? So here's the two things. These are two roles in this negotiation process, right? You have the employer, and then there's yourself. And the goal of this thing is to really work together and reach a compromise for you to, you know, at some point start with the company. So for the employer, their motivations, we already know, is to fill a position, is to acquire the best talent, because I don't think anyone posts a job description with thinking, oh, we're just going to get, you know, the most basic average person that we can find. No, they're looking for the best talent, which is why they're keeping their pool open by interviewing different candidates. And then they want to put an end to the search process because it's expensive. All right. I forget the number of how expensive it really is on, you know, on average for companies. I know it's around a ballpark figure of a couple of $10,000s. Okay. So having that process end is great for the company because they don't have to invest any more money in it. And of course, that allows them to protect their bottom line. And say, for instance, if you go ahead and you forfeit the opportunity to negotiate, then of course they also save money on their bottom line because you didn't negotiate. And I want you to understand and know, feel it in your spirit that they do have this, they consider, most people now are privy to the information that they can negotiate, and they do sometimes, for the most part, from what I'm hearing, they budget for your negotiation. So they already have in mind that you just may negotiate when they come to the table, but they're going to offer you the basic number. So keep that in mind. Now, your motivations, again, we just talked about it. You want to support your lifestyle. You want to make sure everything is good with you. The culture is good. Everything makes sense to you as far as the progression of your career, all of that good stuff. And then you want to also make sure that you're joining the best company. You don't want to just join any old company because you need a job. You want to make sure that you can see yourself in this role, that you can see yourself progressing in this company, and maybe moving up, doing whatever it is, getting what you need from out of this role. You want to make sure it's a good fit for you. And then you want to end your search process. I don't know about anybody else, but I always say that the job search process is a job in itself. So if you can get to the point where you're wrapping this all up for yourself, it relieves you. It gives you a sense of no stress. You're not worried anymore. Everything just seems to be clear blue skies after you have ended the process. And then you, like I said, you want to make sure that you can see progression in your career by joining this organization. So what's within an ask, right? Because that's what we're going to be talking about now, which is the offer. So they're going to offer you something that they think is fitting for the position that you're going to be filling. And then what you're going to be doing is returning that and letting them know what you think is good for you to fill this role. Now, I have ask is an acronym for me, and we're going to talk about it in depth right now because I like to start from the bottom, the foundation, make sure the foundation is good first, and then we can build the other blocks on top. So the first thing is affirm and ask. Affirm yourself, right? We want to make sure that you're good. Like I said in the beginning, we want to make sure that you're able to convey everything that you need to convey about yourself so that you can have this conversation comfortably. And that happens in the interviewing process. So this is why, again, I became a coach, because all of these things are intertwined and they mean just as much as the next thing. They're all building blocks in the process. So you want to make sure that you've presented yourself well in the interview. And you also want to make sure that you've asked the right questions so that you can be able to evaluate whatever it is that they offer you, right? With everything in mind. Like, say, for instance, you're asking questions about what exactly does this position entail? Who am I reporting to? What will I be doing? How can I what can I expect to do in my first year? Those types of questions give you kind of a perspective of what will be expected of you when you get into this role. And then you also want to make sure that you're clear on what's valuable to you. Again, this is a process that requires you to be crystal clear on what it is that you need from an organization, because they are crystal clear on what they need from you. So you want to be crystal clear on what it is you need from them. And one of the things that I actually lend a hand in, because I do have an accounting background, I help people figure out what their number is, even for them to apply to a job, to consider applying to a job. I know that now there's a couple of states that are now changing things where salary transparency is a thing. They're not hiding it from you anymore. You get to see the range of the salary at least. We're hoping for, better things to turn out over the years. But as of right now, there's a couple of companies that are abiding by this salary transparency that we are now dealing with, which is a great thing again. And you get to see right then and there if this is a job that even fits in your lifestyle, fits within what it is that you're doing at this point in time. So you have to have a right on time number. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the right on time number in a second, but you have to have that number in mind so that you're not applying to somewhere where it doesn't even make sense for you to be in a role, or there's no room for you to actually live, because the thing is with negotiating, if you can negotiate up front, you don't have to worry about bills not being paid later, right? You be wishing and hoping for a miracle, praying for things to get better, and it's not, because a lot of times we're on salary. So you either going to move or you're going to ask for a promotion of some sort, but why do all of that when you could take care of that at the front end? So then assure yourself of the power within. That's what I specialize in. I specialize in helping people realize that they are worthy of everything that they're asking for, everything that they come to the job market to get. Because guess what? You didn't get to this place by happenstance, right? You actually work to get where it is that you are. I don't care if you're fresh out of school. I don't care if you're just about to finish school. I don't care if you have 10 years of experience or 20 years of experience. You know what you're capable of doing, and you would not enter into something that knowing full well that you are not capable of doing it. And listen, one of the things that I always tell people also is that if you can see yourself fulfilling 70% of a job descriptions, the duties they have outlined in that job description, you're qualified. Okay, you're qualified. You're supposed to get trained on the job. You're supposed to learn on the job. You are absolutely capable of learning and being trained. So let's nip that in the bud and know that we are powerful and that we are able to operate with knowing we are capable of doing and getting what it is that we need from these organizations, right? So the next thing is sell. And sell is one of those things that, like I said, I always start with the ground first, and you have to sell yourself to yourself first, because that's the most important part. If you could convince yourself that you're deserving of the opportunity, you're deserving of the money that you're looking for, the benefits that you're looking for, then you absolutely could possibly convince someone else of the same thing. So I have a method that I teach people called the self method. I'm going to go into detail about that in just a second. The self method, of course, increases confidence. It allows you to really understand what it is that you have to bargain with, right? And then you have to assess the need and speak to it. So the way that I tell people to do that is just answer to the job description. Whatever they're talking about in the job description, make sure that you are really figuring it out, like you're assessing it line by line. What is it that you have in your arsenal that can speak directly to this job description? Because guess what? That's the language that they speak. They speak the language that they've put into this job description. They want to hear about the results that's connected to what they've noted here. They don't want to hear about, when you were 12, you were walking the dog and you were dependable and you were responsible. They don't want to hear about that. They want to hear about the stuff that's connected directly to what it is that they need, rightfully so, right? So then you want to understand the overall motivations of the company. This is one of those things that you just get extra brownie points for, and it makes you look good. If I must share a little bit about me, I am incredible at making sure that I understand all the motivations of everyone involved in any conversation that I have, because I just want to make sure that I know upfront what it is I'm entering into. Like I said, I always want to make sure people understand what they're going into. So if you can identify the values of the company, if you can identify the values of the department that you're entering into, the goals of that department, you really can you could design some stuff that could really speak to what it is that they're looking for, and you will most definitely outshine other candidates and also please them to the point where they're actually willing to listen to you more and see if they can find the money to fit you into their budget. That's what we want. We want them to see that they need us just as much as we need them. We don't want to walk around these conversations thinking that we're grateful to be in this place. We're grateful to be in this predicament, and you should be, but you should not feel like that you are there just because they took a chance on you. No, you deserve to be there, and understanding all of the things that goes into the company's way of thinking, you can speak to why you deserve to be there and why they should hire you. So again, selling yourself first is going to be key to unlocking the door to selling those people on the other side of the table. So let's talk about the self method a little bit, right? I shared a LinkedIn post. If you follow me on LinkedIn, I shared a LinkedIn post a couple of days ago about how I had to do some kind of salary negotiation in business for myself. And it was hard. It was very hard because it's one thing to convince other people. But again, like I said, selling yourself on yourself is a different story. So you want to make sure that you're spending time on this because it's going to allow you to shift. Your mindset is going to shift, and you're going to be able to see yourself in a different light if you really take this serious and apply it to whatever your situation is. Here I have my situation, which is where I'm just outlining all the things that makes me eligible for negotiating my salary. So the first thing is your skills. So I had here, of course, resume writing, all the things under the umbrella of career coaching and leadership. That's all of the stuff that I do in business as far as, in the client facing situation. And then an expertise for E, which is, what are you good at? What are you known for? What is it that people say, I know somebody, like your name is synonymous with whatever this is, right? So for me, like I said, the confidence, restoration of the confidence and spirit of high achieving professionals that desire more, but still don't feel like they're enough. They are enough. That's my expertise. That's where the people that I serve, that's how they identify me. They know me because I don't just speak on tactics and strategies. I teach them principles and things that they can take with them in any situation. Yes, we adapt them to the job search process, but what I'm teaching them goes beyond that, and it allows them to feel better about themselves and in turn show up as a different type of professional, which is what the goal always is. I want them to show up as their best self in every situation, with or without me. And then L, which is leverage. This is one of those tricky things that most people kind of they don't really understand until they see an actual visual. So the visual I'm going to create for you is, what's the way that generally your industry, people in your industry do things, and what's the way that you do things, and how did you get your result? Your result is your way in the middle of that. So you have their way, your way, and in the middle is the unique process that you have. So for me, my leverage is that I now understand how to combine life and career coaching in a unique manner that drives professionals into action. That was something that I had trouble with, that other coaches have trouble with, because it's really, we walk a very thin line with career coaching and life coaching, if you think about it. So I understood how to combine the two and make it so that it is, like I said, within the scope of the project, and the action that's supposed to take place is actually taking place. So what is it in your process that you've done that allows you to get results that nobody else can get? That's your leverage. What have you done in your career that allowed you to get results that nobody else can get? What can you speak on? What is it that they know that you are good for, right? It's kind of just like the expertise. Only thing is, it's specific, right? It's specific, very specific. And then facts. The facts are always going to ground you, right? The facts are going to make sure that you understand exactly why you're in the seat that you're in, or why you're doing the things that you're doing. For me personally, I know that I've earned my way in career advancement arena. Even though I have a background in accounting, I always had that was my hang up at the beginning. I was like, oh, I'm not formally trained. I'm not a former HR person. I'm not this, I'm not that. I had all of these knots, but then I had a list of things that I was not addressing, right? I had, like, we can ignore the HR experience when you're actually getting the results already, right? I had people coming from all over the place telling me, oh, I negotiated this, I got this job, I did this, I did that. There were so many things that I was like, man, it was overwhelming at one point to even see it, because at that point, I didn't believe in my expertise the way that I do now. So when you start to understand the facts of the situation, again, that mindset shift happens where you're like, no, I'm not lucky to be in this seat. I'm supposed to be in this seat. So for me, I single-handedly assisted in the past 5 years with assisted professionals in achieving over $500,000 in salary increases. And that is crazy. Granted, I went to school for accounting. Yeah, I graduated with an MBA, but even that had accounting in it too. So it's like, you just never know what it is that you have within you that you can actually speak to until you recognize it. You actually have to dig for it, because we're in this society where we're taught to really pick ourselves apart and compare ourselves to other people. And it will have you sitting there looking at yourself as if you're not worthy when you really are. So if you take this method, this self method, and really sell yourself, focus on selling yourself to yourself, you will show up to these conversations as a different professional, and you'll be ready to speak business. There's no, ifs, ands, and buts. You'll be good on your yes and firm on your no, right? So now we're going to talk about no, the K, no. So you're right on time number. Like I said in the beginning, those Shark Tank people, when they come and present, they are ready, they are armed with everything that it is they need to know so that they can present and be, ready to talk about what it is that they have to offer and why they are a good investment. So for you guys, the right on time number, I always tell people, to pad whatever it is that your lifestyle requires with 10%. So you're going to like literally go through all your expenses, add them all up, and add 10% to that. And then you're going to times it by 12, of course, because we're doing this on a monthly basis, times that by 12. And that's how you'll get your annual salary that you should be aiming for. However, that number is just for you to know, so that it's a ballpark figure so that you can enter, like I said, look at these job descriptions and everything and see that, okay, this would be a good fit for me because my expenses are this and blah, blah, blah. It'll allow you to have a full evaluation process. Now, the thing is though, you never want to give your right on time number to the employer. You want to negotiate actually 10 to 20% above that. And then, and the reason being is because it provides you a cushion, kind of, sort of, where if they meet you even in the middle, you're still above the number for your basic necessities in life, right? Because that 10% that I factor in there, that's just, just in case something happens. We live in we all know now, we live in a world where anything is possible at any given time. So you always want to make sure that you're not selling yourself short by just asking for what you need. You need something to pad that as well, because how else do you save? How else do you invest? Those things are important if you want to actually build wealth or some type of legacy with your job, your 401k. If you're going to match, if you're fortunate enough to have an employer that matches, you want to be able to contribute a good amount of money that they can actually match. So those things go into, consideration when you're getting that right on time number. And then the other thing is you want to do market analysis and the trends. You want to analyze the trends that's surrounding your industry, surrounding the position you're going for, and of course consider where it is that you live. So the good places to do this on is either LinkedIn, Glassdoor.com, Indeed.com, Salary.com. Those are good places where you can find the info that you need to actually conduct the analysis. And when you're analyzing things, again, you're getting a gist of what it is that you can expect from this employer to dish out at you. So you don't want to, again, go in completely blindsided. You want to know what's a good figure to even accept for this position without even talking to them. You want to know already up front. Knowing, like I said, empowering yourself with the knowledge is what's going to give you the confidence. So knowing all of these things allows you to, again, make this conversation just another conversation. It's not even pressure for you because you already have the knowledge that is necessary to navigate this thing, right? And then the other thing you want to do is conduct your own research. This part is tricky because a lot of people have this, I don't know how taboo the subject is at this point, because like I said, we're in a new age, but people still don't like discussing their money. But one of the things that I've also found is that some people don't mind at all and will give you all of the tea if you ask for it. So you want to learn how to be able to talk to people so that you can ask them these types of questions. I was a part of a Clubhouse chat a few weeks ago where this was an actual topic of how to talk to people so that you can understand, get more insight and understand what it is you need to know before entering these conversations. And a lot of the time, people, like I said, you don't know if they're okay with talking about this or not, but you can break the ice by just like asking questions surrounding just like how many years of service they've had, experience and whatnot, their background, that type of thing. It's literally just a conversation where you're going to be gleaning information without being so, noticeable. Like you don't want to go in just prying and picking apart people. You want to make sure that you're giving just as much as you're getting. So in this conversation, you want to be transparent as well. You're expecting transparency. You have to be willing to be transparent. So allow them to know what it is that you're doing. You're going for a different position. You're trying to talk about a promotion. You need to know, like, what is it? If you could give me a ballpark figure, what is it that you make every year for doing this role? Or if you don't mind me asking, you know, how is it, how did you get into this role, and how much was it that you asked for in the beginning? Because a lot of the time people don't even know what their coworkers make, right? For me, that's never been an issue because I've made a career out of municipal and higher education roles. So all of that stuff is very public, but a lot of people don't know what their coworkers are making. And if you can just have those conversations and be just, you know, like I said, willing to be transparent and be willing to be personable with people, you can understand a lot more than what the internet is giving you on these trends. It'll be down to the organization, right? So you want to be able to do that. A lot of people on LinkedIn, they don't have a problem with sharing. I've never run into anyone who's given me trouble on LinkedIn when asking for some information. The people that are on LinkedIn are there to do one thing, and that is to advance in their business or their career. So they are always willing, what I've found, they are always willing to lend a hand to someone else to do the same. So even if you have to go outside of your organization and find someone in that role, do that. You can type in literally the role in the search bar, and you can find a number of people who fill that role and talk to them about what it is that they make. And like I said, just be very transparent and open, and most people will return the pleasantness, that pleasure to you by, you know, just cooperating. And then on the other side here is, of course, familiarize yourself with the other benefits outside of money. I've seen people negotiate all types of things. So, you know, there's not just money on the table, there's vacation benefits, there's extra PTO, you know, there's childcare expenses, there's traveling expenses, there's relocation if you want to be remote at this point or be hybrid. There's so many different things you can negotiate during a salary negotiation. Is actually your compensation package. So we kind of get, you know, sidetracked by talking about the money and focusing on the money, but there's so many other things that you can negotiate. Stock options, all types of things are available to you in that conversation. So even if it's not money that would be incredibly beneficial to you in that conversation, know what else is, you know what else is for know what else is important for you at this moment in time. Because for me, as a single mom, I am one of those people who would like to be either in a remote role or a hybrid role. It just works better for me. So being able to negotiate that is something that I would always have that on the table at this point. Before it wasn't a thing, but now it is. So we're going to take advantage of it, right? You never know. You miss 100% of the shots you don't shoot. So I want you to always keep that in mind as well. You miss all of the shots that you don't take. So the actual conversation when you're returning an email in regards to this situation, you want to make sure that you give yourself some time. I always tell people to give them at least, tell them you're going to return them. You need some time, and you're going to tell them something within 48 hours, because it gives you, again, that opportunity to do your research. And it also gives you the opportunity to weigh your options if you have options. Now, we're going to talk about that in this third bullet point about the options thing. But the first thing you want to do initially in a counter offer is making sure that you express gratitude for the actual offer, right? You don't want to come off as arrogant or, you know, a Miss Know-it-all. You want to make sure that they understand that you are, in fact, happy that they are interested in you, right? So then you want to present your proposition and back it with facts as well as support from your background. So the facts is going to be those market analysis and those trends that you have evaluated. And then the facts, of course, like I said, is going to be the stuff that you have pulled from your story that aligns with the job description and the things that they are looking for in a great candidate. You want to make sure that they understand why you're asking for the amount of money that you're asking for, and make sure that they know, like, I'm worth every cent that I'm asking for. So that's going to be part of it. And then at the end, it's very simple. At the end, you're going to thank them again and let them know that you would love to be a part of the organization if you guys could come to a compromise with the salary. And yeah, you want to make sure that they think that you have options. And I don't want you to lie, of course, but again, you're in a job search. You do have options, right? If you don't go with them, you're going to go with someone else. So it's not that you're lying. You're literally telling them, like, you are an option for me. This is an option for me. So one of the things that allows them to see you as one, you're not just putting all your eggs in one basket, right? You know that there is a chance that you will not accept this offer, and you want them to understand that as well. Like I said, we want to get away from, feeling like we're so lucky to do things. We want to make sure that we convey our presence, our persona, everything about us says that I'm worth whatever it is I'm asking you for, right? And so letting them know up front that you are an option, like, this is not something that I necessarily need. This is an option for me because there are other companies that are also willing to vet me and see if I'm worth joining their organization. I can interview for another organization. It doesn't stop here, So if we can't reach that number, of course, it doesn't stop here. We could go further. So you want to make sure, like, you're not lying when you say, thanks, this is my top option. This is something I'm really considering, because you do have options. And I want everyone to take that away from here. You have options in this conversation. You do not have to, feel that you have to accept whatever they throw at you. You just don't. And so that's the thing. Don't be afraid to walk away. One of my top tips is to walk away sometimes. Like, a lot of the time people ask me, like, oh, I gave them this number. I told them it was too low, and they told me this was all they could do. In that instance, if that number is too low, walk away. Thank them for the opportunity for interviewing you and for offering you the position, but walk away. You will do yourself you will do yourself a favor by walking away instead of accepting something that would not support you. Because guess what? A couple of months into that role, you're going to feel as though you cheated yourself. They're cheating you. And then if the work is, if the work actually does kind of surpass what they're offering you in compensation, you're going to be burnt out and probably overwhelmed. So you can avoid all of that by just simply walking away and actually finding a company that will give you what it is that you need. So don't be afraid to walk away. That is literally everything in a nutshell. I am here for you guys to ask me all of the questions, anything you need to get off your chest. I'm glad I was able to make this as compact as possible, because now you do have the opportunity to ask me questions, and we could really pick apart some of the things that keeps you, like, jittery when you have these conversations. Do we have anyone, Christy?
We do. Gia asked, can you give us an example of a salary negotiation conversation?
Oh, so what will happen is you don't have these conversations until you get an offer. And most times people give you an offer via email. And in the email, you're going to see all of the things outlined in the offer. They will call you back. In most instances, you'll get a call back, and you just let them know, like I said, hey, we've come to the conclusion that we want to offer you X, Y, and Z for $50,000. Would you like to accept this offer? Blah, 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 right? You're going to be on the other line of that phone like, oh, this is amazing. But you're going to refrain from sounding like, you're super excited. You're going to let them know, like, oh, that's great. That's amazing to hear. But can I have about 48 hours to consider the offer? And of course, most people, if they tell you no, that's a red flag, run away right away. But most people are going to give you that 48 hours you're looking for. again, you're going to have that conversation with self, and you're going to do your analysis on everything, and you're going to come back. That's what we were just talking about. You're going to come back with your email, and you're going to follow this formatting where you're expressing your gratitude. You're letting them know what it is you actually want, where you're telling them, hey, I would like to actually ask you guys for what we said was 50,000, 60 grand. We want to do 60 grand. So I would like to ask you guys for $60,000 for this position based on, whatever research it is. Indeed.com said that, whatever statistic they would have, the basis of this, the base salary for this is usually 56,000. But with my experience, I think 60,000, is a great number. I know 60,000. Let's eliminate think. We know 60,000 is a number that sounds more attractive for this offer. Would you be able to work with that? And literally you thank them again and wait for whatever it is that they say. They're going to tell you either yes or no. And however that goes, that's really literally that's it. That's how it goes. It's literally you telling them what you need. They tell you if they can do it. And then you can, actually go further into the conversation if necessary. But most times, if you can get the number up front that you're looking for, you don't really have to do the back and forth. Back and forth is a possibility, but I advise against it, because if you want me, you want me, and you're going to let me know up front.
Thank you, Michelle. We have kind of three similar questions. So someone's up for a well-deserved promotion at work. Would you utilize the same tools and approach that you just have covered? And then do you have any other recommendations on how to ask for a raise with your current employer?
Yeah, so actually just setting up a meeting to talk about what it is that you're doing. So depending on what type of promotion that you are asking for, you want to make sure that you already have your ducks in a row as far as the KPIs that are in KPIs, key performance indicators. You want to make sure that you already know what KPIs will speak to you deserving of a promotion. So say, for instance, you're minimizing the time it takes to do a certain process. You're getting more done with less money, whatever the case may be. You want to make sure that you understand all of those different things before you have the conversation. And you initiate the conversation by just asking to have that conversation. And yes, you would follow this same formatting, just letting them know like what it is that you need, what you're considering. You would do your research, of course, ahead of time. Like I said, you do want to talk to other people. Make sure that you have a great idea of what it is you're walking yourself into. And like I said, arming yourself with the knowledge as far as like why you deserve what you deserve is going to take you much further than just going in and being like, hey, I deserve a promotion. No, you want to give them hard facts on why you deserve this promotion. All of it boils down to the same thing. You're going to be positioning yourself to present facts that are aligned with getting more money, getting more benefits, whatever the case may be. You want to make sure that you are, aware of what it is that you're doing. And one of the things that I do advise people who are looking to get promoted to do is to keep a track record of what it is you're doing on the job on a day-to-day basis. Make sure you're tracking the results. Make sure you're tracking all of the compliments and recognition that you're getting so that you can bring that up in the conversation, because guess what? You got it from the horse's mouth. You told me I was great at this. You told me I was doing a wonderful job at this. You said that this saved us this amount of money. You want to be able to refer to that when you're having the conversation, because it's going to be a little different. You're not going to be back and forth with emails. You're actually going to be talking to a person. So talking to the person is the same formatting, but you want to make sure that you are, you understand the benefits of having this conversation in person with someone who knows your work ethic already.
All right, those were the current questions. If anyone else has additional questions, please do chat them in. Everyone is commenting that this has been extremely helpful.
That's always great to hear. That is always great to hear.
One more question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I just wanted to, I just was going to say, I just want to make this a common conversation. Let's not treat this as something that's terrible or frightening. This is something that we can all do. We can all manage to do. It's within our bandwidth. Nothing qualifies anybody else more so to negotiate a salary. We are all capable of doing so. So you go ahead, Christy. What was the question?
Yes, and thank you for that. I think this information has been not only extremely helpful, right, and practical in terms of how we can apply this to ourselves and our lives and very easily, but I think it's very motivating. So I appreciate that part of this too. Apina, I want to make sure we get your question right. Are you in a position where you can unmute and ask your question?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, as I am not like a US citizen, so like when I negotiate with the salary that the company offer, how to negotiate salary, because like normally international worker gonna get like low pay. So I don't have any idea when negotiate the salary at all.
So you said you're not a citizen?
Yeah, I'm international student and I just finished my degree last year.
Uh-huh.
And if I get a job offer, how to negotiate salary, because like I know that my background is different from like, yeah.
Yeah. So first thing first, I don't want you to look at being an international student as something that's going to stop you from being able to earn the same amount of money as everyone else. Your work is no different from someone who is a resident of the United States. So I don't want you to think that you're at a disadvantage because you are an immigrant. Now, the thing is, you do want to make sure that you are, again, dotting your I's and crossing your T's, because you don't want to give anybody anything to weaponize against you. You want to make sure that you understand, like I said, what type of company you are walking into. We know that, DEI isn't a top priority of all companies at this point. It's a hot topic, but not a lot of people are actually approaching it with the I guess the tactics and the processes that need to happen in order to see results. So you just want to make sure you're evaluating everything about the company prior to applying. Like that's going to be the additional step for you, is just making sure that you understand what type of company are you trying to get involved with. Because what I was talking to Christy about this before before we went live, tech companies tend to have a lot of international hires because most of these positions are remote. Now, the thing is, again, you want to make sure that these companies are welcoming of you and everything about you. You don't want to walk into somewhere knowing, oh, they might, lowball me because I'm not a citizen. No, that's not something, again, you can stop yourself right at the front door from getting involved in that type of situation by just understanding the nature and the value and the missions of the companies that you want to apply to. So don't even think about, that you're at a disadvantage because you're not a citizen. That doesn't matter. Your work isn't any different from anyone else's.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Couple more questions came in. So what's the best way to leverage negotiations when you don't need healthcare?
When you don't need healthcare? Oh, okay. So you don't need the healthcare benefits. So basically you just let them know that, and then understand like what's the value of the healthcare package. What does that mean for you? Like that means that they're available. They can allot you that much more money because you don't need their healthcare benefits. So understand exactly, what it is you're walking into as far as making sure they're actually going to honor that. Like I said, it's a lot of this has to do with knowing the type of company you're getting involved with. So I do know healthcare is one of those pressing topics where people do tend to get pushback from the company. They want you to enroll in this stuff. They want you to do this. They want you to do that. But if you can be firm, if you can just hold your own and be firm, like, I don't need this, I'm, married or whatever the case may be, let them know up front and let them know that you are expecting to be compensated in a different way. So again, you enter it with telling them, I don't need healthcare. I would think, I know that getting X, Y, and Z benefit in place of that would be more beneficial to me. So you just make sure that you understand what it is that you want to replace it with. And again, stand firm on not needing it, because I do know that there is pushback for healthcare. I've seen it with my own eyes. People do try to push you into getting healthcare with the companies. So make sure that you're able to stand firm on that and know what it is that you want to get in place of it.
Great. Okay, we have a question from Ellen. Hi, Ellen. If a salary estimate is not posted on a job application and they give a low offer, how much is too much try and negotiation? Is there an instance where you should just walk away without negotiating?
Yeah. So if the number is like way beneath that right on time number I told you about, if the number doesn't even come close to your right on time number, there's no need to have a discussion. You could just walk away. Literally, I'm glad you asked that question, because some things are just not worth your time. If that offer is not even close to whatever it is that you need to sustain your lifestyle, you shouldn't even be having a conversation about it. And again, this is one of those things where you also understand whether you're applying to jobs that could actually sustain your lifestyle. So either you're gonna realize you have a budget issue, or you have an issue where you are applying to jobs that don't align to what it is that you're actually looking to do in an organization. So yes, I'm glad you asked that question. There is a time where you should just walk away, because that right on time number again gives you that ballpark figure of what it is that you're looking to hear from on the other end.
Fantastic. I love that. Another question, they keep coming. I love it. How do you negotiate when you have multiple job offers?
Oh, it's the same thing. Like I said, you got options. So you literally want to make sure. Another thing is, I know people are really afraid to accept an offer and then be like, I kind of want to go this way instead of this. You can resign. I know that's not unpopular advice, but it is very popular now. People are vacating positions 3 months in, 6 months in, because they got better offers. It's okay. This is your life. Okay. You don't allow a company to dictate whether or not you're going to accept another offer from somewhere else. You are allowed to weigh your options just like they are. So when you are in the process of getting other offers rolling in, even if you accept an offer early on, you have the ability to be like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm going to resign, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. You don't have to be sorry. That's just my, default of things, but you don't have to be sorry for it. Literally just let them know this didn't work out, whatever, I have a better opportunity. You don't even have to go as far as saying that, but however you want to approach that conversation is up to you, but you do have the ability to walk off and accept something different in all cases. And guess what? You do not have to put that on your resume. So you don't have to look like a job hopper if you don't want to by listing, this position that you were only in 2 or 3 months. You can omit that by just having a heading that says relevant experience or current experience, however you want to head it on your resume, without, omitting the fact that you actually did have a short stint with the company. So with that, is just making sure that you understand the power that you hold as an employee and not give all the power to your employer.
Fantastic. Okay, we have time, I think, for one more question. A couple came in. Should we ask that company, do they want to counter?
What do you mean? Do you want to counter? They're almost always going to offer something. If you ask them for something, they're going to come back and tell you whether or not they're going to give you something more or something less. So I don't know if I understand the question, or if it was, asked where I could really understand what you mean. But if you ask them for something, they're going to come back with a response. So again, like I said, we just have to keep in mind their motivations. Their motivations is to fill the role and to end the job search process. So they're going to answer you. They're going to reply to you with whatever it is that they have to offer you in place of what the original offer was.
And Mark, I invite you to unmute quickly if you need further clarification. Okay, and Michelle, we did have someone ask if you're open to sharing your social media handles. So
Absolutely.
yeah, you could also share those with me. And if I had a lot of questions about if this session is being recorded, and it is being recorded and it will be sent out. Once the recording is processed, we'll send it out to all our registered guests. So you will have access to all of this fantastic information. And Michelle, if you're open to it, I can include all of your social handles there too.
Yeah, I'm actually gifting you guys a workbook for salary negotiation. It'll have all of my information in there. Here's my contact information as far as my email and my actual website, but all of my social media handles will be inside of that workbook that you guys will also receive. And you can expect where it will give you an actual kind of like a template where you can follow how to have the detail the emails for the counter offer. And then also kind of, because I am an accounting major, I do have an expense tracker in there to help you figure out your right on time number. So there's different things in there that's going to assist you with further picking apart this process and making it work for you, because it is very customizable to whatever it is that you need. So thank you guys for being here and for having amazing questions. I always appreciate when you guys are interactive and give me something to work with. So I appreciate you. Thank you, Christy, so much for having me. Thank you, Nancy. I appreciate you guys for giving everyone this opportunity to commune and share different things about this topic.
Michelle, thank you. It's truly our pleasure to have you here. And we appreciate you just being a partner, as an alum, as a professional and expert on this topic. I think everyone here who has joined us today is extremely appreciative. We appreciate your time, your expertise, and your leadership. And I want to quickly invite Nancy, if you'd like to join and say a few words as well.
Yes, this was an amazing program. Thank you again, Michelle. We truly, truly appreciate you. And for everyone out there, we just want to encourage you that we do have career services available to you, whether you are a current student or an alum. You do have lifelong access to career services here at Roosevelt. So please feel free to reach out to us.
Yeah. Oh, and just one thing, LinkedIn, you guys can follow me on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn almost every day. So my name, you just type up Michelle Matthews and you'll find it. I am, like in my bio says, I am known as Coach Mimi on Instagram and Twitter and all of those places, but you'll find that out once you get your workbook. But yeah, just shoot me an invite on LinkedIn and we could connect and talk more if you need more help.
Fantastic. So we will send out that information with the workbook shortly. And Michelle, thank you again so much for being with us today. And I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their afternoon and their week.
You're welcome. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Hi.
Bye.